Hello there viewers, and welcome back to another live stream today here on my channel. So you joined me today. I think you just got the start of that stream then. I hope you didn't just cut the start off. Yeah, you joined me today for the penultimate round of the Medway Racing League, and you can see on the screen now the current championship standings. So yeah, going into the penultimate round of the championship, Ryan Sandall could quite easily win the championship tonight. Basically, Ryan has to score 101 points to be guaranteed the title tonight. It depends on where Kelvin finishes. If Kelvin blitzes everyone tonight, then Ryan needs 101 points. If Kelvin doesn't blitz everyone tonight, then Ryan doesn't need that many points. He needs less than that. So that's the current state of affairs. It's only really Ryan and Kelvin who could win the title. Everyone else is pretty much out of contention. Although it says that Kelvin has done 11 rounds, 2 of those he quit the races, so he didn't really score any points. So in reality, he's only really done 9, which is the same as Ryan. So Ryan and Kelvin have essentially done the same amount of rounds, and are, that many points apart from each other. So yeah, they are the people that are in contention with one another for the title. Yeah, like I say, Ryan can quite easily wrap it up tonight. It's a bit complicated to be honest because of drop rounds. It took me quite a while to do the maths, but that's what I ended up coming to the conclusion I came to. So that is the state of affairs at the moment with the championship. Today we are racing at, if I bring this up on the screen, Suzuka, as you can probably tell by the title of the stream. So yeah, Suzuka, not a track I like to be honest, but others do. That's why it always appears on the calendar. So yeah, that's where we're going to be racing. I hope you just heard me by the way when I was speaking. I think you did. Anyway, if you didn't, then hello. Yeah, welcome to this stream. Race will be starting in 3 minutes time. Thought I'd go live a little bit early so I could show you those championship standings. So I could show you how Ryan could win the title tonight. Ryan, like I say, only needs 101 points to win the title tonight, and he's scored at the least 118 points in every round so far this season. So he's probably going to win the title tonight unless he completely messes up, especially in the feature race, which is not like Ryan. He doesn't usually mess up. So yeah, that is what will be happening tonight. Looking at Dima Nivnov at the moment, going around in the Nissan GTR. Nissan GTR, very strong car around the circuit. I'm not quite sure why, but it is. Yeah, Apex Magnet, gone with the 911. Got Dimitar with the 911, he does like that car. Then got Shane Dye, who's in Lobby 1 for the second time. He was in it last week for the first time, made his Lobby 1 debut, and he's in it again this week, gone with the BMW M6. We've got Neil Moore, he's gone with his trusty GTR, I've seen him drive that a lot. Now got MJK also in the GTR, Nissan GTR. This is a very well liked car today. It's not a car that I like, I find it to be an unnecessary handful, but anyway. MJK's gone with the GTR. What's Shake gone with? He's gone with the GTR as well. The 8-ship pleb decided to be different and gone with the AMG, the Mercedes AMG. Then what we got Johnny Newbold in the 911. Don't tell me, is Ryan Sandall in his Viper? Yes he is. Wow, I'm so surprised. Then got Jake Beatty in his trusty GTR. He doesn't ever drive anything other than the GTR, so that's the one person who I'm not surprised by. Not surprised that he's gone with the GTR. Manu Perry's gone with the Supra. He's not going to move off the line. And Kelvin's gone with the 911. He does like that 911. So that's who's racing tonight and who's driving what. I'm going to be starting any second now, as it is pretty much past. And as the host, I decide when it starts, which is nice. Now let's check we've got everyone. I think we do. Everyone's entered. No one's having any internet meltdowns by the looks of things yet. So qualifying is 5 minutes long then, that's what I'm literally about to start. So let's wish everybody good luck, give them a bit of a warning that we're about to start. That's enough of a warning, and let's go. Look at all those nice good luck messages. We're so kind in this league, everyone wishing each other luck and then punting each other off in the races. Right, let's go to spectator mode. Just a warning, in practice or qualifying, it's difficult to operate the camera because it's not like with the race where it goes to this car, then it goes to the car behind, and the car behind. In qualifying, it's not like that. It's all over the place, the camera in qualifying. So exiting the pits then for the start of this 5-minute qualifying session. There's only going to be time for 2 flying laps, so people do not have time to do many laps. I don't know how to phrase that. 2-shot qualifying essentially. Looking at Apex Magnet in his 911. Apex Magnet, I'm very jealous of him. He was at Goodwood this weekend at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. I think he was there for all 4 days. Not only was he there for all 4 days, but he also won a 50-inch TV in some competition thing, and he won the sim racing competition there, which was like I think a hot lap challenge thing on a Suzuka Corsa. It was I think the Sky Sim Racing Challenge or something, and he won that as well. So he had a whale of a weekend. Very, very envious of him. I'd love to go to the Festival of Speed one day. Absolutely love that thing. I was going to make a video on that, by the way, the Festival of Speed. I'd spent about 3 days trying to make a video of me driving at the Festival of Speed. I just had problem after problem and gave up on it in the end. That's why I barely uploaded anything last week. I was in the background raging at things. So at the front of the queue at the moment, we've got Dimon Ivanov. Slipstream around this circuit is not too important. It's quite a handling circuit, so you kind of don't want to have someone right in front of you distracting you. Although slipstream is beneficial, being right behind someone can very much put you off. I hate it. I hate being right behind someone. Don't mind being bump draft, but being right up behind someone, ugh, no, can't do it. So Dimon's leading the way then with his best friend Dimitar Penkov. Very easy to get those two muddled up in terms of their names. Who we got further back? I can see him in pack back here. If I try that, we've got Jake back in 8th. So looks like they're spreading out a bit though. They were really clustered together, then go through Spoon, but looks like they're spread out a bit. So starting their qualifying lap then are the leaders. So you've got Dimon in his GTR. I don't think I've ever seen him drive the GTR, to be honest. This is Dimon's first time in this car. Going through the first corner, let's go on board and actually do a bit of a track guide. Now coming into the S's, got to carry the speed through here. Try not to get your tyres dirty either, because that will screw up the handling of the car. Just want to have a nice flow through here. Misses Apex slightly through turn 5, but not bad at all. Took the rest of the corners very well. Now through Dunlop, taking that well indeed. Is he going to go off the circuit? No, he's not. Could have pushed the limits a little bit more exiting Dunlop there, but played it safe. I'd rather do that than go flying off into the gravel trap. Now through Degner 1 and 2, took Degner 1 well, and Degner 2 very well indeed. So exiting the first sector, that's a good sector time, 52.4. Now into the hairpin. Anything low 52, you're on a flyer. Through the hairpin, is he going to get the power down well at this corner? Yes, he is. This GTR does struggle for traction. So that's the main issue with this car. It's the main reason why I don't like it. It's a right handful out of the corners. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone does loop it out of that hairpin during the race. Now coming into Spoon, now on board with Dimitar. These guys both doing well here, doing some good laps. Dimitar's got the slipstream as well, which is going to help him. Dimitar's in the 911, which is not quick on the straights. So this is quite a good setup they've got here. Got the faster car, the GTR, pulling Dimitar along. Now coming into 130R is Dimitar. He's going to have to lift off significantly through there. So that was a big lift then. And now coming into the Casio Triangle, braking just before the 100 metre boards. Cut these curbs as much as you possibly can. Or Dimitar, you are not anywhere near brave enough there through the second part of the Casio Triangle. But anyway, taking the short distance to the line, the short line, across the line, we've got Dimitar on pole provisionally then, with a 158.6, sorry. Apex Magnet has set a 158.5, Kelvin 158.5, Dimitar spun, the ancient played 158.5, Ryan Sandall 158.1, that's an absolute cracker of a lap there by Ryan Sandall. 158.1, that's very good indeed in his Dodge Viper. Sheikh Shabazz 158.7, Sheikh's going really well today, he was flying in practice, doing very well, seemingly quite a strong track of his this. Neil Moore in 8th place at the moment with a 159.5. Now MJK 159.2, gone up into 8th place anymore. Got Manu Puri 159.7. So I'm expecting the guys who have done 159s, expecting them to improve on this lap. I think Shane Dyer did a 2 minute 0. So yeah, expecting improvement there as well. Oh, JJ Hype's gone on pole. 1:58.0. That's a flying lap there in the Porsche 911. That beats last season's pole lap. Last season, I think the pole lap time was a 1:58.1. So that's beaten that kind of record as such. So Johnny Newell then on provisional pole position. Let's go back to whoever's at the front, if I can do that. Let's try that button there. Nope, let's try that button there. Yes. So on board with Dimon Ivanov then. Can he improve on his 1:58.7 that he set on the previous lap? We will see when he gets close to 1:50. We will see what the split time is, what the sector time is. See if he's up on his personal best or not. So coming up to the end of sector 3 then. He's 2 tenths down. So I will abandon that. Can I find somebody else to go on board? We've got Kelvin. He's on a personal best. No, he's not. Anyone on a personal best? Anyone care to drive fast? We've got Apex Magnet in 4th at the moment. Let's see what his lap time is when he comes up to the start finish line. It is going to be a 1:50. No, 1:59.4. Is anyone going to improve? Let's try that button there. Got Sheikh Shabazz. Is he going to improve on his 1:58.7? He said he did a 1:58.1 in practice. So there is definitely a chance he could improve it. As he comes up to the start finish line, does another 1:58.7. That's good consistency there from Sheikh Shabazz. That's promising then for the race. Is MJK going to improve? Where even is MJK? There he is. Coming up to the start finish line, he's going to set a 1:59.9. Dimitar, is he going to improve? No, he's not. He spun on that lap, didn't he? And anybody else? No one's improving. Absolutely nobody has improved on that lap. How boring was that? All the action came all at once and then nothing. Thank you, everyone. Could someone have improved on their second lap of quali? There's only 2 laps of quali. How did everybody set their personal best on lap 1? I think it was only Shane Dye that improved on his second lap, and his was a 2-minute on the second lap with a 2:minute.1. Jake Beatty doesn't look like he's had a good time of things. He hasn't even left the pits. What's going on there? Is he stuck in the pits? If he is, if he's got that glitch, then I'll restart this race. But anyway, let's hope that Jake hasn't got that glitch as we get the sprint race then loaded up. On our pole position, we've got Johnny Newbold. I think that's his first time in pole ever, possibly, or certainly in a while. Got Ryan Sandall in 2nd place. Got the Ancient Pleb in 3rd, with John Hardy, Apex Magnet starting in 4th, and Kelvin Gomersall starting in P5. Let's try and get the graphics up on screen. There we go. So Johnny burning some fuel then before this race gets underway. Who is going to start in the chicane? Who is going to be unlucky enough to be starting there? Let's jump back to... Looks like it was 7th and 8th that started in the chicane, so unlucky there for Sheikh Shabazz and Dimon Ivanov. They're going to be a bit screwed over here at the start. But as we get the race underway then, we've got Johnny Newbold in the lead of the race. Ryan Sandall's already within the slipstream range, so Ryan's got lucky with the start there. So firmly within the slipstream range of Johnny Newbold. And the Ancient Pleb's actually right behind Ryan as well. So the Ancient Pleb got a mega start then. Got very lucky with the rolling start with where the game placed him. He's already right up behind Ryan Sandall. Only, well, he's within the slipstream range of Johnny Newbold. That's how close he is to the lead. So Ancient Pleb then in the AMG. The only guy rocking the AMG this week. AMG's a very good all-rounder. Not really strong at any track, but not weak at any track either. It's just average. Very average. Coming at 3 taking 1 for the first time this race. We've got a 6-lap race. No strategy for this. Not really. There's a little bit of fuel usage and a little bit of tyre wear, but nothing to note. Nothing noteworthy. Exiting the hairpin, got Apex Magnet also close up behind, as it looks like Ryan has actually pulled away a little bit from the Ancient Pleb. Looks like he's had a few not so good corners and enabled Ryan to get away. So Ryan now is in the slipstream of Johnny Newbold going up to Spoon. Not quite close enough to go for the move, but he gained a lot of them on him then. Down that straight, Ryan's car is a lot quicker on the straights than Johnny's. So as we go into the bumper cam, into the bonnet view, is Ryan going to be able to go for a move into 130R? Is Johnny going to go defensive? He is not. So Ryan Sandall then going to the left into 130R. This should be a pretty simple move to pull off. Yes, it is. So Ryan Sandall then into the lead of the race. Johnny did not put up a fight there. That's quite interesting, to be honest. This is a sprint race, so you know, fighting is worthwhile. It is possible to hold someone off for a few laps. But Ryan Sandall then into the lead of the race. Let's hope that Johnny doesn't get swamped here. That 911 is not quick on the straights. He's going to be vulnerable here to the guys behind. That is the downside of this car. Overtaking is very difficult. You're very vulnerable. Down those long straights, you're very vulnerable to slipstream. Going through the first corner then. On lap number 2. The ancient players managed to catch that tyre back up that he lost earlier on. Half a lap ago, he's managed to roll that back in. Only half a second now off the lead. Going through these S's. Really cannot overtake through here. You can maybe try and sneak one up someone's inside, but it's almost certainly going to end up with contact. With you firing them off into the gravel. It's actually the Apex Magnet. Very close behind here. The Ancient Pleb. Very close indeed. I think he was looking up his inside then, but couldn't get up the inside. It's difficult to overtake out of Dunlop. You kind of end up on the wrong side of the circuit as Apex Magnet got a good run out of Gr.2 heading up to the hairpin. Not close enough to go for the overtake as Johnny Newbold gone a bit deep then into the hairpin. Presumably so he can take a late Apex, but Apex Magnet got a good exit then. Pulled alongside the Ancient Pleb, but again you can just see the 911's lack of straight line speed. Nothing he can do there to get past. It's just stuck alongside. Having a look at the track map, trying to see if there's any battles going on further down the order. I don't think there are at the moment. So I don't think we're missing out on anything right now as we focus on this fight up at the front. Johnny Newbold only 3 tenths behind Ryan Sandall. It's going to struggle to get past him though here. Just really is not catching him much on the straights. Is he going to be able to absolutely send it into the Casio triangle? Don't think he is close enough. He's very, very close indeed. In fact, I think there could have possibly been contact there. That was so close. But no, Johnny not quite able to get past. And actually Ryan's taken that Casio triangle really, really well. I think Johnny had to check up a bit there to make sure he didn't punt Ryan. Cost himself a little bit of time. Entering lap number 3 then, Ryan Sandall just set the fastest lap on the race with the 158.7. Remember there was obviously those overtakes on that previous lap. So that did slow him down. Or that battling, should I say. Oh, there's a battle going on here towards the back of the field. Looks like Jake Beatty and Shane Dye are fighting to not be last, to be honest. Jake using a wheel for not the first time, but he's still very much new to using a wheel. So you can't expect him to be on the pace at the moment. Jake was looking like he could have been a title contender at one point this season. Got off to a very, very, very good start to the season, keeping up with Ryan and everybody else, but he's kind of faded away a little bit towards the end of the season, especially since he's moved over to a wheel. Looks like someone went off then. I think Apex Magnet ran wide out of Gr.2 then, onto the gravel, and Kelvin almost managed to capitalise on it then, almost managed to make his way past, but not quite. Pulled alongside, but he was on the wrong side going into the hairpin. Going on board with Kelvin Gomersall. Going in to Spoon, he's going to the left, on the brakes. Oh, who's going to go for the move? They kind of neither wanted to go past then, as actually Apex Magnet always off the circuit. So he gave, there's a bit of contact as he rejoins the circuit. John gave Kelvin a lot of space and into Spoon, as Kelvin was kind of thinking about backing out of that move then. And Apex Magnet just ended up going off the circuit. With sort of Kelvin going, after you. So yeah, a little bit clumsy then between those two. I think they were both being very, very cautious, giving each other too much space in my opinion. And just ended up getting a bit messy. So Apex Magnet then's gone down to 7th place courtesy of That's Off. And Kelvin, the only guy who can really challenge Ryan Sandall, is now in 4th place. Sheikh Shabazz doing really, really well in P5. Let's see if he can do solid 58s today. He was saying to me earlier that he's been practicing for this race for 2 days now, and been setting really quick lap times. So let's see how Sheikh does today. Like I say, doing well so far. How is the Ancient Pleb doing? He's fallen back a little bit from the leaders here, so not quite able to keep up with Johnny and Ryan. Lost about a second to them over the course of the last lap or so. Johnny Newbold still in the slipstream range of Ryan, so this is promising then. Looks like Johnny is able to somewhat keep up. I do think Suzuka is quite a strong track for Johnny. He's someone who's very picky with these circuits. He has some tracks which he's great at, some tracks which he just doesn't even know. Like St. Croix, he doesn't even know which way any of those tracks go. So yeah, Johnny does look like this is a strong track for him, as he is keeping up with Ryan Sandall. Johnny not really in contention for the championship, mainly because of what I just said, not being strong at every track, having that, you know, patchy form, let's say. Looks like Shane Dye and Jake Beatty are still fighting position. Oh no, they're not. Dimitar's crashed. When did that happen? So on the previous lap, something's happened to Dimitar, because he's not only crashed, but he's got a 0.6 second penalty as well. And I think I can see some scuffs on the front of his car. Yes, I can. He's gone off into the wall, you know. He's gone flying off somewhere and hit the wall with the front left of his car, because he's got all big scuffs on that front left. Presumably picked himself up a 1.5 second penalty in the process of having that crash as well. A barrier collision penalty. So that's not good then for Dimitar. Finished second in the championship last season. He's had another off. He's not had a great season this season. Had a number of offs and a number of just issues in general. Looking further ahead, you've got Apex Magnet now behind him and Ivanov after that off a couple of laps ago. And then you've got MJK and Neil Moore battling for 8th place here. He's got these two both in the Nissan GTR fighting for position. Neil's come on leaps and bounds this season. He's when we started the season, we put him down as a goal driver. Oh, we shouldn't have done that. We should not have made him a goal driver. Way too good for gold. He's definitely a diamond driver. He's been in lobby 1 pretty much every round this season. Since, I think from round 4 onwards, he's been in lobby 1 every time. He's just too good for lobby 2. More than holds his own in this lobby. Looking at the front here, still got Johnny right behind Ryan. Doesn't look like Johnny's that fussed about winning this race, because he didn't defend against Ryan in the previous race. Didn't defend into 130R. Plus, he's not seemingly gone for any moves yet. He's not tried lunging Ryan or anything. He is close enough to try and, you know, lunge one, and he isn't doing that so far. We are on the penultimate lap of the race as well. So it is about time that he should go for a move if he's going to do it. Johnny has the fastest lap on the race at the moment, 1:58.1 set on the previous lap. So it's a very quick lap time indeed. When I raced here last season, I think my best lap was mid-58 in the 911. So Johnny's doing a very, very good job. Oh, he's looking up the inside into the Casio triangle. Are we going to get a repeat of Senna and Prost? No, we're not. But he did look to go for the movement, so that's good to see that he is trying to get past. He has compromised himself though, Johnny, by trying to go for that move now. He's lost himself about half a second, so that maybe wasn't the best idea. Maybe he should have waited until he was a little bit closer. Looking a little bit further back, Kelvin has managed to catch up to the Ancient Pleb, so the gap was 2 seconds last time I looked, but he's managed to reel the gap right in, setting consistent mid-58s. Whereas the Ancient Plebs, yeah, done 2:59s on those 2 laps. So Kelvin then right up behind Adicha. But looking back to the front, still got Johnny Newbold in 2nd place. Go into Chase Campier going through Degner 1 and now into Degner 2. Can't really overtake through the Degners, but you can overtake it into the hairpin. It's a very good overtaking spot. Both of them run slightly wide. They're now at Degner 2. Now going up to the hairpin. Is Ryan going to go defensive? Yes, he is. So Ryan very much defending then into the hairpin, making sure that Johnny can't get past. To be honest, when someone defends into that hairpin, there isn't all that much you can do. You really can't get past if they defend. It's an easy corner to block into. Now going down into Spoon. This can be a very dodgy overtaking spot here, as proven by Kelvin and John a couple of laps ago. Can easily end up with a person on the outside going miles off the circuit. So Johnny's staying behind here, but now he's got the slipstream down the back straight, down to 130R. He is going to be gaining on Ryan here, even though he has less straight line speed. Now Ryan's gone defensive into 130R. He's fearing the attack here by Johnny. Now going down into the chicane, into the Casio triangle. Is Johnny Newbold going to be able to go around the outside? He's alongside Ryan Sandall. Now he's on the inside for the second part, but he just about backs out of it there and lets Ryan Sandall take the victory then. So coming across the finish line, Ryan Sandall, he's going to win the sprint race here in a really good battle with Johnny Newbold. With Johnny in second, and then the ancient player just about to hold on to P3. We've got Kelvin Gomersall in 4th place. Shakespeare in a very, very strong P5. I think that's his best result all season, finishing 5th in Lobby 1. And you've got Dimon Ivanov in P6. Apex Magnet after that off in P7. Neil Moore managed to get past MJK towards the end then, and he managed to get P8. I think MJK, had a bit of a mare on that final lap then with a 2-minute 2.3. And then you've got Manu Puri in P10. Shane Dye in 11th place, and then Dimitar in at 12th, and it looks like Jake quit, I think. He's just messaged me as well with the ... So something's happened there to Jake Beatty. Didn't disconnect, because it would have said that he disconnected, so I don't know what happened there. But Ryan Sandall then with the victory. Let's change the lobby settings over. We're running very early today. Very early indeed. We're running about 15 minutes earlier than we were last week. I did just click change settings, didn't I? Or did I? Oh, I changed to the same setting, didn't I, you muppet? There you go. So that's now the settings loaded up for the feature race. 22 laps is this feature race. Tyre wear is going to be a big issue because Suzuka, it's very twisty. Lots of high-speed corners, so it's going to really take the life out of the front tyres. Dimitar wants 4 minutes. Not Dimitar, Dimman, sorry. Yes, you can, Dimman. Go on, go for a wee. Let's screenshot the results whilst I'm here as well, so that Matt doesn't have a go at me. There's that. So that was a good race then. Lots of battling up and down the field. I did say the replay, didn't I? Yeah, just in case I need to review anything. What were the gaps at the end? You had a 0.466 second gap between Ryan and Johnny in the end. So Johnny finishing within half a second, and he got the fastest lap points as well. So he got 2 points for the 1 point for the fastest lap. Then Ancient Pleb ended up 3.4 seconds behind, with Kelvin 4.6 seconds. So I think Kelvin may have had a bit of a mare on that final lap then, because he was right up behind Aditya, but fell back a little bit when they came across the line. Shake's bad within 6 seconds off the win. So that's really, really good then by Shake on a controller. He's not new to the Gran Turismo, but he's improved a lot recently. Let's say he was like a C-rated driver not all that long ago, Shake Shabazz. And I think he's just recently got to A+. Then Dimon Ivanov in 6th, Apex Magnet in 7th place, Neil Morton 8th, MJK 9th, Manu Puri in 10th, Shane Dye in 11th, Dimitar in 12th, and then Jake Beatty rage quit, we're gonna guess. He didn't disconnect, something happened. Okay, Dimon's 4 minutes is nearly up now. Starting at 20. Oops. 20:55. Might as well start 5 minutes early. Keep you guys entertained. Who's driving on the circuit at the moment? Got Kelvin and Neil driving around. Getting a bit of practicing before the feature race starts. So standing start for this feature race. It was a rolling start for the sprint, standing start for the feature. So those who have got cars which are good off the line, they are going to be at a big advantage here. The Nissan GTR, which is what most people are in, it's alright off the line. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's too bad either. Ryan Sandall's Viper is an absolute weapon off the line, I know that. And the Porsche 911 is not good off the line. So Kelvin and Johnny are going to be at a disadvantage here when this race starts. We've got the Ancient Pleb starting in third as well in the Mercedes AMG. That's just as good as the Viper off the line. So I'm expecting Aditya and Ryan to be the front two going into turn number 1. Right. You might want to guess who's going to get to T1 first. If you forget to turn traction control, it might not be you, Ryan. That's the only way it might not be you. Or if you get the grid glitch, that could happen, although unlikely. Right, let's start. Everyone's entered. Dimman's clearly back. Let's go. Right, let's get the feature race underway. So 22 laps of Suzuka. It would be logical to pit at the end of lap 11. That would make sense. Although some people may try to the undercut, some may try an overcut. Oh, we've jumped the sequence here. I managed to get onto the grid view before this bit. Starting on pole position then is Ryan Sandall with Johnny Newbold in at the 911 starting in second place. I'm assuming he will not move off the line. It would be nice if I had some start lights so I could know when this is going to start, but I'm just going to have to try and guess when it's going to start. Well, Ryan's got his foot on the throttle, so we must be starting sometime soon. And away we go then to begin the feature race here at Suzuka. Predictably, Ryan is in the lead of the race as he heads down to turn 1, and Johnny Newbold is predictably getting swamped. And he's all the way down to about P6 now. Johnny Newbold managed to settle in 4th. Kelvin actually got an alright start there in 3rd. And we're going to guess that he turned traction control off and did it manually, because he got a much better launch than Johnny Newbold then. But leading the race then is Ryan Sandall, surprise surprise, with the Ancient Pleb right behind him in 2nd place. I may or may not have predicted that. Then got Kelvin Gomersall in P3 with Johnny in P4 as Dimon Ivanov up into 5th place, but power sliding then. Oh, Sheikh Shabazz is off the circuit. Oh, he was doing so well. He was up in 6th and finished 5th in the sprint race. He's just bottled it on lap 1, just clipped the grass coming out of Dunlop then. And off he went, flying off the circuit. It's unlucky there for Sheikh, down to 13th place. I was in the middle of saying that Dimon Ivanov was power sliding out of Dunlop then. And Sheikh Shabazz rather caught my attention. Ryan Sandall's managed to break the slipstream to the Ancient Plebs. It looks like the Ancient Plebs had a couple of naff corners then. He's fallen back by half a second to Ryan. He was only 3/10 behind him last time I looked. And he's now in the clutches of Kelvin Gomersall. Kelvin, by the way, I was obviously saying about the championship standings at the start of this stream. Unless Ryan disconnects or rage quits or whatever, he's going to win the title. Having won that first race, got those 16 points. I mean, if he finishes last in this race, he's going to get 83 points, Ryan. Add that onto the 16 that he scored in race 1 and, yeah, he's won the championship basically. Johnny Newbold just ran off wide then out of 130 up, so that's going to make his tyres dirty and lose him a bit of time to Kelvin as well. So Johnny not had the best of starts here. I'm surprised that Kelvin managed to jump him at the start. Like I said, I think Kelvin must have tried and done the start manually, done it without traction control, because he got a very good launch. Didn't get swamped at all, unlike I was expecting. Further down the order, there's battling going on here as MJK's up the inside of Neil Moore, and he's managed to get up into 7th place here then to turn number 1 on lap number 2, although he has run a little bit wide and he's got Neil alongside him now going into the S's. Oh, wrong button. Still side by side for the S's, and now Neil's backed out of it. You can't really run side by side through these S's here. As Shane's now looking up the inside of Neil Moore, so there's all kinds of dicing going on here further towards the back. Everyone's sniffing up each other's insides. Dimitar's managed to make his way up into P10 as well. So having started down in 12th, now up into 10th place. You've got Jake Beatty in 11th, Manu Puri in 12th, and then the unlucky Sheikh Shabazz down in 13th. Shane Dye very much holding his own. He's a red driver, not someone who historically races in Lobby 1, but he's proving to everybody that he does belong here. We definitely see him becoming a Lobby 1 regular next season. I can also confirm that he will not be a red driver for next season, I can tell you that now. I've been seeing the provisional licence list for next season. But in the lead of the race then is Ryan Sandall. Hasn't actually managed to pull away from the Ancient Pleb at all. As the Ancient Pleb, is he actually in the slipstream range of Ryan? Yes, he is. So the Ancient Pleb's managed to reel in Ryan there by a couple of attempts, and he's into Ryan's slipstream. Kelvin Gomersall also firmly within Aditya's slipstream range too. As Kelvin's just nailed 130R then. Is he going to go for a luncher? Yes, he is, into the Casio triangle. I wasn't really expecting that, but Kelvin took 130R like a peach. Took that perfectly, and he's up into second place then, behind Aditya Raghav. He's gone down to third place. That was a very good move. I think Aditya missed his apex slightly then through 130R, and Kelvin said thank you very much. Slipped it up the inside and up into second. So you know what? The championship, it might not be over. It might not be over. Kelvin could win this race and Ryan could crash or something. It's easy to crash around Suzuka. There isn't much in the way of target runoff area. It could still happen. There could still be a championship decider, you know, a championship finale. Unlikely, but possible. Further down the order, let's have a look at this battle here for P7. This big train of cars that's formed between 6th and 7th place. Apex Magnet's in 6th at the moment. Is he battling for position? No, he's not. Dimmon's actually right up behind Johnny, so Dimmon's keeping up with these guys here. He's keeping up with the lead pack, only 3 seconds behind Ryan here, having started down in I think 6th, 7th place. Anyone further back down the order going to send it up the inside into the hairpin? No, they are not. Very much follow each other at the moment in these early stages of the race. As I always say, this is quite a long race. You don't necessarily want to be fighting at the moment. If you feel like you're significantly faster than the guy in front, sure, try and get past. But if you feel like you're on a reasonably similar pace, then just sit behind, and if you do get close, just short shifts, save a bit of fuel, and jump them in the pits. As Dimmon's flashing his lights here at Johnny Newbold, and on half throttle down the straight, so it looks like Dimmon is being held up here by Johnny Newbold. Dimmon's car, the Nissan GTR, is strong down the straights, whereas Johnny's car is not, so Dimmon is naturally going to cut Johnny up down these straights, regardless of the fact that he's got slipstream. As Aditya looks like he's made a bit of a hash of the Casio triangle then. He was rather leery out of there, and he's now fallen back from Kelvin, so Aditya not really getting into a rhythm here. His opening lap of the race, where he had the standing start, was almost as fast as his next 2 laps. The 2 laps where he was, you know, doing 120 miles an hour across the line were only 3 tenths quicker than his opening lap of the race. So Aditya needs to get his foot down here. Needs to try and get into a rhythm. Aditya is, I think, India's fastest player on GT Sport. He's a former GT Academy finalist, I think a regional finalist. I think he won like the Indian region or something like that. Won it back in 2014. As JJ's looking up the inside of Aditya now, going into Degner, or looking now for the outside. That's kind of the wrong side to be on, to be honest, for the Degners. Very much bumper to bumper here. Can Dimmon capitalise on this fight, taking it in front as Johnny is side by side with Aditya going up to the hairpin, but again he's on the wrong side here, so he's going to struggle to get past. He goes round the outside of the ancient player pair, around the outside at the hairpin. What a move that was by Johnny Newbold, winning late on the brakes, purposely braked too late so he could sweep around Aditya's outside, and that's a superb move then. Very, very good overtake indeed by Johnny Newbold. Back up into P3 then, as it looks like there's an almighty pack back here for, what is it, 9th place. I think there may have been an instant here, yes. So Shane Dye's done 2-minute lap times here, and he's fallen right back from Dimitar Penkov, as he's now got Neil Moore up his side. Wouldn't be surprised if there's been a bit of argy-bargy back here, to be honest, because they've been properly cut off from MJK and Dimitar. So Shane Dye then in 9th place, going defensive into 130R, as he's got Neil Moore looking all over the back of him. Neil Moore's quite far down the order, to be honest. I would have expected him to be a bit further up the order, especially since he's in his favourite car, the GTR. As there's now side-by-side action going on further behind. Looks like Sheikh Shabazz just got hit going into the Casio triangle. Then yes, he did. So let's try and watch the replay there, if it works. Try and... Yes, there was a bit of argy-bargy. Not sure who was at fault then. It may have just been a bit of a domino effect. It's kind of the natural thing that happens when cars are that close to one another. But yeah. Oh, Sheikh Shabazz telling Emmanuel Puri to chill out and quitting the room. Right, well, there's been some something going on there. Maybe that's why the pack got cut off then. Maybe there was a bit of punting going on between Sheikh, Manupuri and others. Going back to the front though of the field, you've got Ryan Sandall in the lead of the race, and he's managed to pull away from the guys behind. So remember, he had, what was it? He had the ancient player up behind him early on in the race, but the ancient player, oh, there's been an incident going into the hairpin. There has been an incident between the ancient pleb and Apex Magnet. Let's have a look at the replay here. The ancient pleb ran wide out of Degner 1, having had another poor lap on lap number 4, and then going into the hairpin. That's a weird one. That's odd. I would suggest that was a racing incident. I think maybe the ancient pleb squeezed John Hardy onto the grass as they entered the hairpin, which caused John Hardy to spin across him. But that was quite strange then. So they really lost a lot of time here then. John Hardy and Aditya Raghav, who was, like I say, right up behind Ryan Sandall early on this race, now 7.5 seconds behind him. So this has really not been a good opening 5 laps for Aditya then. Having had a good lap 1, it's all gone to pot since then, as he's now all the way down in 6th place, and he's got that pack who were earlier cut off from the guys in front, now right up behind them. MJK, what, a second behind. He could catch them up here, as the ancient pleb is up the inside of Apex Magnet, then into turn number 1. He's going to be able to make that move stick. You cannot go to a rest through turn 1. It's just suicidal trying to go to a rest through there. Whoever is on the outside will end up on the AstroTurf and will end up having a big crash. So John Hardy very smartly pulling out of that move then, just letting Aditya have it. Looks like Dimon Ivanov is keeping up with Johnny Newbold up ahead, so he's still right behind. We saw Dimon was getting a little bit frustrated with Johnny a few laps ago, flashing his lights at him, going down the back straight into 130R, as Dimon had to lift right off to avoid going into the back of Johnny Newbold. Halfway through the first dip now. Let's have a little bit of a look through the tyre and fuel levels. I'll just very quickly skim through, look away if you get motion sickness. Fuel levels all looking reasonably similar. Yeah, and tyre wear all looking reasonably similar, so there's nobody dramatically low on fuel at this point in time, or dramatically high on fuel either. Johnny Newbold in P3 in his Porsche 911. Setting consistent low 159s at the moment, so I would suggest that he's in fuel saving mode, because he was doing low 58s in the sprint race. So he's either driving poorly or he's in conservative mode at the moment. He's in preserve tyres and fuel mode. The ancient pleb in P5 now. MJK and Dimitar have very much managed to catch up to these guys now, so this is pretty much a 4-way fight for 5th place. Dimitar, remember, crashed in the sprint race, flying off the circuit when he was up in, he crashed in qualifying, didn't he? And yeah, he crashed in the sprint race, didn't he, when we weren't watching? Yeah, because he had that damage on the front of his car. So he's managing to recover from that then. He's into 8th now, in the slipstream of MJK2. Looks like Manupuri is miles off the back here. Did a 2 minute 17 on the previous lap. What's happened there? Has he got his phone out and had a bit of road rage or shake or something? Something's happened there. He's like, I had an almighty crash, or he's got his phone out and done a bit of texting. As he's had another bit of a Larry moment there. So Manupuri not having a great time with things here. Ryan Sandall, as seems to be the case every week, he's just dominating here in the lead of the race by 3 seconds. Kelvin last week wasn't far off of Ryan's pace, but Kelvin started in the mid-pack and had a bad start because he doesn't tend to pick cars that are good off the line. So Kelvin's kind of been struggling to keep up with Ryan these last few weeks because of those poor starts. Once he's got into clear air, he's been kind of on the pace, but just hasn't quite been able to challenge him. Anybody who's watching, by the way, who hasn't ever raced in MRL before, the new season is coming near. It starts in 2 weeks' time, the new season. So make sure to check out the Facebook page and sign up. Or make sure to join the Facebook page if you do want to take part in next season. Have a look through what's going on at the moment. The new settings are in the process of being sorted out and in the process of being announced. So do check it out. So it looks like we've got a battle for 9th place going on here. If we have a look further down the order, got Neil Moore in 9th place with Jake Beattie right behind him. And then Shane Dye in 11th place. So Jake, remember, like I say, he's got himself, I think, a Logitech G29, I think he said. And he's been a controller player all his life. And he's taken some time to adjust to using a wheel. I don't think Jake races in real life either, so using a wheel is very much a new thing to him. Driving at speed using a steering wheel. Dimitar's managed to make his way up to P7. Just spotted that. He's managed to get past MJK then. Into 7th place in his 911. Dimitar won this race by miles last season. He absolutely made mincemeat of me. He was flying last season in the 911. So much so that he did a pit stop on the penultimate lap of the race and put a new set of tyres on so he could go and nick the fastest lap off me. Yeah, that's how good Dimitar was going. He was beating me by about 16 seconds. So pitted for new tyres. Still came out in the lead and set the fastest lap of the race as well on the last lap. Which was very much rubbing salt into my wounds. Pit stops should be coming up sometime soon, so I'd imagine the first people should be pitting in about 2 laps time, to at most 3 laps time. Ryan Sandall setting consistent 1 minute 58s here. Ryan seems to be very, very good. I've noticed this in Club 100 as well. Very good at preserving tyres, preserving fuel, and still going really, really fast. Like every week in MRL, he's always got a good amount of fuel, always got healthy looking tyres, and he's always got good lap times as well, and consistent lap times. So Ryan is very much the all-round package. Definitely the fastest guy in this league. I think we can all accept that. He was challenged by me last season, though. In my own defence, I did give him a run for his money last season in the races that we did together, and this season as well. But obviously I've switched over to doing this now. The HG Pleb in P5 still at the head of this pack of cars. The HG Pleb still isn't setting great lap times. Still hasn't even done a 158. And his lap times, if you have a look at that, they're really quite erratic. Has the apex magnet? Has he just gone off? That looks a bit weird then. Looks like he's slid into Degna 1 then. That was all a bit weird. That might have just been a bit of an internet glitch there. I can't see how you'd be able to power slide through Degna 1. That's a very strange corner to power slide through. Looks like the guys behind have fanned out a little bit. So it looks like Neil Moore in P9. He's managed to pull away from Jake and Shane. Managed to get the gap up to 2.5 seconds. So that big pack that we were looking at a few laps ago when Sheikh Shabazz quit, it's very much fanned out, spread out. Ryan Sandall now got the gap up to 3.8 seconds. He's absolutely flying, going like the clappers. With Kelvin, he just can't get near Ryan's pace. He's doing consistent low 159s, whereas Ryan's in the mid 58s. Absolutely flying around here, Ryan Sandall. I'm not sure the 911 is the best car, to be honest. There's a few people that have gone with it. It's good through the corners, and it's good on tyres and fuel, but it's so slow on the straights that I'm not sure it's worth it. We've got Dimon Ivanov still in the slipstream range of Johnny Newbold, so Dimon's doing really, really well here. Dimon upgraded to a Fanatec CS Elite about a month ago, and his pace has come on leaps and bounds, and he's so much quicker. He was on a Thrustmaster T150, and now with the CSL Elite, he's going at the clappers. Oh, the Apex, not the Apex Mega, the A-Ship Pleb, he's off the circuit. He's had a crash at turn 1. This has not gone well for the A-Ship Pleb, as I think he may have just quit. Yes, he has. He was in second place on that one, right behind Ryan, and now look, he's rage quit. Oh well. I guess you have days like that sometimes, where whatever you do, you're rubbish. There's nothing you can do. You try, you're just rubbish. you can't get on the rhythm, can't get into the rhythm of things. So we've had 2 dropouts here, two of the engines have fallen out of this race. Only got half the engines left, or half the that group left in this race. Ryan Sandall got the gap now up into 4.2 seconds, up to 4.3 seconds. I think we can say pretty safely that Ryan's going to win the championship tonight. I mean, he may crash, something like that might happen. He may even have an internet disconnect, but it's pretty unlikely, to be honest. Let's face it, he's absolutely flying tonight. It's a bit odd that Johnny's not keeping up, you know. He's 8 seconds behind because he out-qualified Ryan. He took the fastest lap of the race in the previous race. Almost beat Ryan as well. I think had Johnny had a car which was a bit faster in the straights, he probably would have beaten Ryan. He wouldn't have been so vulnerable in the straights. Would have been able to get past more easily. So it's a bit odd to hear that Johnny's down in third. He's not good on fuel, really, as Dimon pulls into the pits on 34% of a tank. Dimon's got a lot more fuel than Johnny Newbold here, so this is all a little bit strange from Johnny. I'm trying to go on board with Dimon. So Dimon's going to do the undercut here. I'm going to guess he's going to come out ahead of Johnny because he's not only a lot better on fuel, but he's also going to have fresher tyres as well on lap number 11. So yeah, I'm expecting Dimon to pull off the undercut here. How much fuel is he going to put in his car? Don't need to fill the tank around here. Don't need to fill it at all. I'm going to guess about 90% is how much he's going to put in. What's going to come out with 86% of a tank. So Ivanov then out of the pits on 86% of a tank. Decided to ignore the line on the pit exit as well. That's naughty. Should obey the pit lane line even though there's no one coming. Jake Beatty out in 11th place. I think is he battling for the position with anyone still? I think he's still fighting with Shane. So it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out in comparison to Shane when they all pit. Ryan Sandall, meanwhile, is he going to pit the end of this lap? Recently he's been doing the overcut. He tends to do the overcut in not just this series but Club 100 as well. He tends to like to stay out long on the first stint and then be quick on the second stint with fresher tyres than everybody else. Probably a good idea to do the overcut in this situation. Just kind of eliminates any risk of you having that tyre drop off towards the end of the race. Means that you don't have to worry about turning into Bambi on ice at the race end. And flying off the circuit. Kelvin in second place. Johnny still in third, who is going to pit at the end of this lap. I would imagine there's going to be a big pile up into the pits here. Should be a rush into it. Kelvin's coming into the pits. Is Johnny coming into the pits? No, he's not. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, he nearly hit that wall then. That was a late move then by Johnny Newbold. Turned in a bit late into that pit entrance then. Also nearly head-butted the wall. As Apex Magnet, Dimitar and MGK are into the pits as well. Dimitar's done well on fuel here. I can see him jumping a couple of people here. As they've also got Neil Moore into the pits. I can see Johnny Newbold getting jumped by Dimon Ivanov too. Judging by the fact he's only got 18% of a tank. Let's stay on board with Johnny here. See how much fuel he puts in. If he puts in anything more than about 70% here, he is screwed in my opinion. Unless Dimon has crashed on his outlap. Where is Dimon Ivanov? Oh, Johnny's really been overcut here. Johnny put 92% of a tank in. Why has he done that? He's put a lot of fuel into this car then. More fuel than he needs in my opinion. So Johnny Newbold's 5 seconds behind Dimon Ivanov. And Dimon's only 2 seconds behind Kelvin. So Dimon's pulled off a blinder here with his strategy. Fuel saved a lot in that first stint in Johnny's slipstream. And he's now not only jumped Johnny, but miles ahead of him and near to Kelvin. So yeah, Dimon done a great job. He's only got a little bit less fuel as well than Kelvin Gomersall. So it's not like Dimon's going to have to save tons of fuel in this second stint. Pretty much on the same amount. As Ryan has predictably gone for the overcut. Just to make sure he does win this race. Apex Magnet's come out of the pits in 6th place. So yes, Dimitar, like predicted, has managed to jump Apex Magnet here. Dimitar now up into 5th place. He came into the pits, had quite a lot of fuel compared to others. That's how he managed to jump them, I think. What's his fuel looking like? So you've got Apex Magnet on that amount. And Dimitar, okay, so Dimitar did put less fuel in than Apex Magnet. But that should be enough to get to the end, flat out. Johnny, yeah, I don't know what Johnny's doing here. That's a lot of fuel to do 11 laps of Suzuka. A lot of fuel. As Ryan Sandall pulls into the pits then with 14% of a tank remaining. I mean, do we even need to watch this? Of course he's going to win. Of course he's going to win. Why are we even looking at him? He's in a league of his own, Ryan Sandall. We need to create a new licence tier for him. The Ryan licence. How much fuel is he putting in? 76%. Yeah, he's going to win this race because he's got loads of fuel to get to the end of the race as well. Kevin Gomersall in second place. He's only 3 seconds behind Ryan. 2.5. In fact, did Ryan have enough on the previous lap? Because that's rather close. Or did he just put... No. They've got the same amount of fuel. So how's Kelvin done this? How has he managed that? He was like 5 seconds behind Ryan last time I looked. But he's now only 2 seconds behind. And on the same amount of fuel as Ryan Sandall. So that's... Ryan did a 2:33.6 on his in-lap. Whereas Kelvin did a 2:32.2. So there's 1.5 seconds gain there. Did Ryan spin or have an off on his in-lap? Something must have happened. Because there's been a big gain there by Kelvin Gomersall. And you know what? Kelvin might still win this race. He might still win this. It's unlikely, but it's possible. If I try and do a bit of maths in my head here with the championship standings, and Kelvin finished fourth. Kelvin finished fourth in the first race, so he got 13 points. So he lost 3 points to Ryan in that first race. In this second race, there's an 8-point swing if Kelvin gets past Ryan. So if Ryan finishes second, he's going to get to 122 points. Okay, where does Ryan need to finish to not get to 101 points? He needs to finish all the way down in about 12th. 80, yeah. So that's unlikely, to be honest. I think even if he finishes 12th, he will still win the championship. Yeah, I think Ryan's won this championship because he can only finish as low as 11th. So Ryan, everybody, is the Medway Racing League champion. Ryan Sandall, I can officially announce, has been crowned the champion of season 2 of the Medway Racing League Gr.3 100 mile series. So congratulations to Ryan Sandall. He probably doesn't realise yet, but he will find out when he watches his stream back, hopefully. Diman Ivanov's just set the fastest lap of the race. What's going on here with Diman? He's just done a 58.2. Diman Ivanov is absolutely flying around here today. He has come on so much with his new Fanatec CS Elite. To be honest, at one point I was thinking that Diman maybe should be downgraded to a gold license, because I remember earlier this season he really was struggling in Lobby 1. Every week he was not fighting up at the front, let's say. But since upgrading to the Fanatec CS Elite, he has turned into an absolute monster. Look at him, up in 3rd. He could challenge, I don't know about for the title next season, but certainly challenge for the podium spots in the championship, because he's consistently on the podium since getting the Fanatec. I think he finished 3rd at the Nürburgring. I think 3rd-ish at Laguna Seca. And he was, I think, 5th or 6th at Tsukuba. Now up in 3rd place at Suzuka. Doing very well indeed. And in an unfamiliar car, I think, to himself. I don't think he is familiar with that GTR. So he's doing, yeah, a great job here. Did a really good job with his strategy as well. Only 2.5 seconds behind Kelvin. Only 4.7 seconds behind Ryan. At the end of lap 14. That's incredibly good driving by Diman Ivanov. Looks like it's very spread out further behind. So we've got Johnny Newbold in 4th place as Ryan Sandall takes that fastest lap of the race off of Diman Ivanov. Don't know if Ryan's listening to the stream, maybe he is. I think that was Ryan's first flying lap actually, out of the pits. Yeah, it was. That was his first time lap since the pit stops So yeah, Ryan with a 58.0. Might even settle 157, you know. Wouldn't put it past him. Tim's up. Pinkolf, 2.4 seconds behind Johnny Newbold at the moment. So it looks like Dimman's quite comfortably in 5th place here. MJK Giland in 6th, ahead of Apex Magnet. So Apex Magnet got jumped by a couple of people in the pits. I think he may have had an incident as well on lap number 12, yes, on his outlap. That was a very slow outlap, 2:04. Other people, for comparison, if you look at Ryan, did a 1:56 on his outlap. So I think Apex Magnet may have crashed here on his outlap with his 2:04 on lap number 12. Yeah, Apex Magnet had a great time of things here today. He was up in 4th in the sprint race and then fell off the circuit when he gave Kelvin a little bit too much space. Now seemingly had an incident in this feature race too. There's something I've noticed with John since he joined at the start of last season. Very, very quick. I think he win at Goodwood, or he was right up the front at Goodwood. But he does crash, and he also isn't very good on strategy. I've noticed, John Hardy. He's got better at strategy, but still isn't his strong point. But it doesn't take away from how good he is. I mean, at Goodwood earlier this season, I'm pretty sure he won both races, I think, or was right up at the front fighting for the win. He was absolutely flying. I remember he was. Yeah, he did. He won the feature race by miles, didn't he? Yeah, that's why I finished 2nd. He was absolutely phenomenal in that race. But yeah, does have the tendency to make errors as well, unfortunately, John. Jake Basie in 9th place at the moment, doing well on his wheel actually. He was right at the back earlier on this race, but he's managed to not only pull away from Shane Dye, but keep up Neil Moore as well. So Jake's starting to get up to speed then with his Logitech, starting to get there. I'm sure next season Jake will be back to his old pace where he used to fight for wins regularly. Just needs that time to get used to the wheel. For those who have never done the controller to wheel adjustment process, it is a difficult process. It took me about a good month or 2 to get used to using a wheel, and I race in real life. I've been racing in real life since the age of 8, and yet when I got a wheel at the age of 16, it was foreign to me. Shouldn't have been, but it was. So it does take quite a while to get used to it. For quite a long time I was more comfortable on a controller than I was on a wheel. In the lead of the race then still is Ryan Sandall, and he has managed to gap Kelvin, so he's managed to get that gap up by a second since we last looked. He was, what, 1.9, 2.0 seconds last time we looked, now up to 3.0. So Ryan, yeah, he's pulling away from Kelvin, who's in 2nd place ahead of Dimman Ivanov, with Johnny Newbold in P4 and Dimitar in P5. Then MJK still in 6th place with Apex Magnet in 7th. And then Neil Moore in 8th. Neil's actually catching up Apex Magnet. How do their recent lap times compare? Oh, so Apex Magnet... Oh, did Apex Magnet go behind Neil Moore for a while? I think he may have, you know, when we weren't looking. I think he did. And he's actually pulling away from Neil here. So that's happened whilst we were looking at Ryan and co. up in the front. So I think Apex Magnet is actually on a bit of a recovery drive here, recovering his way back through the field after an incident that we didn't see. Hope you are enjoying watching this, by the way. Do feel free to like this stream and subscribe if you're not already. Although I only say feel free, I never say that you must. I always just say feel free. Manupuri, is it Manupuri? Yeah, at the back in the Toyota Supra. Doesn't look like he's had a great time with things here. He's actually gone decent pace here, setting consistent 159s. I think Manupuri maybe Lobby 2 is more his pace, because I think since he stepped up to Lobby 1, I don't think Manupuri's been kind of up at the front at all. From what I can recall, I think he's been towards the back every time. Next season the lobbies will change in MRL, so it will no longer be based on what lobby we think you should be in, it will be based on your championship positioning. So it means theoretically it means that the lobbies should very much be the fastest drivers in lobby 1, and then so on and so forth. Only issue that we might have next season that we do have to think about is people who can't make every race. They'll fall down the lobbies and kind of not want to race, because you know you've got some diamond driver down in lobby 3 because he wasn't able to make 3 of the first 4 races. Near Moore in 8th place. Actually caught Apex Magnet up slightly here, reeled him in by half a second. Now in his slipstream range, going down this back straight down to 130R. Let's go on to chase cam here, as he is reeling John in down this straight. 5 laps left of this race. It was a little bit cautious there through 130R, so not quite close enough to go for the move into the Casio triangle. Ryan Sandall still in the lead of the race, setting consistent mid 158s with that low 158 that he did on lap 14. Hasn't been able to do 157 actually. I hoped he might be able to, but not quite. Didn't quite get under that 158 barrier. Kelvin's still in second, not getting dropped too much here to be honest. He's managed to set consistent 158s as well. Just consistent mid 158 since he left the pits. And then Dimman doing not quite such fast pace. I think he's done a few low 159s. Not quite able to keep up with these front 2 here. But he's still miles ahead of Johnny Newbold in P4. Don't know where Johnny's pace has gone. He was flying in practice. I think he did a 158.0 in practice. He did a 158.0 in qualifying. He did a 158.1 in the sprint race. Very much kept up with Ryan in the sprint race too. Got pole position. But in this race, I mean, his best lap's a 158.8. He's down in 4th. So, yeah, and in fact, he's been, I think, caught up here by Dimitar, who started right at the back of this race. As Johnny runs wide onto the AstroTurf out of Spoon. Yeah, Neil Moore still up close behind Apex Magnet, who is not far behind MJK either. He's got these 3 here fighting for 6th place. Are they going to close up over the course of these last 4 laps? Neil, he's still in that slipstream range of Apex Magnet, of John Hardy. So he may be able to get past him here. Getting down to turn 1, is Neil going to get a good exit? No, not particularly. As Apex Magnet actually pulled away a bit there on the corner exit. So Neil probably won't be close enough. No, won't be close enough for a move into turn 1. Close, but not close enough. Turn 1, it's a good overtaking spot because there's a big long straight building up to it, but it's a very, very, very sketchy overtaking spot. The overtaker very much has the power into that corner. Let's say they very much decide what happens. If they can very much choose to leave space or not. When you're being overtaken into there, you really do have to just kind of close your eyes and hope you don't get pushed off the track. Three laps to go then in this race. How's everybody looking on fuel? If you get nausea, if you're epileptic or whatnot, look away now as I'm going to flick through the drivers. Everyone's looking pretty similar. Oh, Jake's not. Jake's low on fuel. Jake's low on fuel, and is it Dimman as well? Yeah, Dimman and Jake then. Not doing too well on fuel, but Dimman has got a 4.7 second gap to Johnny Newbold, and Jake's got a 10-second gap to Manu Puri, so that shouldn't cost him too much. Jake's actually making a bit of a habit of under-fueling his car, because he was massively under-fueled at Laguna Seca as well. I remember he had to go into massive fuel-saving mode in that race, really had to back off towards the end of that race. Suzuka is a circuit which was built in the 60s, for those of you that don't know much about Suzuka's history. Built in the 1960s by Honda, and it's been owned by Honda ever since. It's kind of their test track. It's yeah, Honda's home circuit. Hosted F1 pretty much every year since 1987, bar I think 2007 and 2008, when Fuji Speedway hosted the Japanese Grand Prix, and obviously last year when the Japanese Grand Prix didn't happen because of COVID. Hosted it every single year aside from that, pretty much. As it looks like MJK's been caught up here. Yes, he has. So Apex Magnet then, he's caught up to Gillan, and he's right behind him now, going up to the Degners. MJK is going to have to go defensive here. Going into the Degners, he's got Apex Magnet pushing them along here, quite literally then. They were touching then through the Degners as Apex Magnet has gone to the right, going up to the hairpins. You're on the wrong side, John. You want to be on the left, not the right. As they go into the hairpin. John's got a good exit, but again, he's on the wrong side. You want to be on the right-hand side for this, because you're going through a right-hander. So John not quite able to get past here. He's got a good run though, going up to Spoon. MJK's going to have to go defensive if he doesn't want to get dive bombed. As John thinks better of that move. Can he stay close to him? Oh, he's looking up the inside into the second part of Spoon. Wasn't quite able to sneak up his inside there, as he's got a good run now out of the Spoon curve. Down this back straight, down to 130R. Apex Magnet, is he going to stay behind through 130R and go for the move into the Casio Triangle? I think he is. So lifting off then for 130R. He's got a good run out of 130R. Oh, but he's gone to the left. He's gone to the left. Why has he done that? Going to the Casio Triangle. Let MJK keep the position there, as MJK went defensive. So John Hardy staying behind Gillan then. Gillan staying in 6th. Gillan's during a really strong race by the looks of things here. Hasn't had too much screen time. Just driven a really good race. He was at the head of that pack, wasn't he, earlier on in the race, and managed to pull away, kind of get into no man's land. Apex Magnet though, remember, recovering from that off that he had on his outlap. Just charged Gillan down as they enter the penultimate lap of the race here. Neil Moore is ready to capitalise on any instance as well, as he's sitting there in 8th. Now going through the S's. These sweeping sections of corners. There he is, it's a run wide, as Shake proved on lap 1 out of here. Neil's very close to Apex. So in fact, let's go on board with Neil. Let's look at this from Neil's point of view. Oh, Gillan, oh, they've gone in deep. Both of them have gone in deep into Degner 1. Is Neil going to get past both of them here? Yes, he is. So, Gillan and John Hardy both went in late on the brakes into Degner 2 then. And Neil Moore said thank you very much as he slips his way up the inside of the pair of them. I'm trying to get the replay up here, but it doesn't look like it's working. So I'm going to abandon that idea. So Neil into 6th place. That was a really good sneaky move then by Neil. I don't know what happened. Was there contact between Apex Magnet and Gillan? It didn't look like there was. I thought there was a gap between them. But that was a bit strange then. Did Gillan outbrake himself and then John kind of follow him off, kind of get distracted? That was a little bit bizarre. I don't know why I couldn't get the replay up then either. I was pressing the right buttons, but nothing came up. So entering the final lap of the race then is Ryan Sandall, 5.3 seconds ahead of Kelvin Gomez. So look at those lap times by Ryan. Every single lap since he left the pits has been a 158. Hasn't even got close to a 159. Been solidly in the 158s all throughout this stint. Kevin Gomsall in 2nd place, also setting pretty consistent 158s. Just dips into the 159s as his tyres die off. Dimming off in at P3 as well. Hasn't had the pace in his 2nd stint, dear man. Has he had to feel safe in his 2nd stint? Because his pace has dropped right off. He's fallen 8.7 seconds behind Kelvin, and he's fallen out of the 1 minute range entirely. Fallen into the 2 minutes. So Dimmon's had a bit of a drop off in pace here. Not quite sure why either. I think, like I say, I think it may be fuel related. Johnny Newbold in P4 in the 911, and you've got Dimitar just 2 seconds behind in his 911. Didn't quite manage to catch Johnny up though. Having reeled him in over the course of this race, hasn't quite been able to reel him in enough. MJK's up into 6th. Neil Moore, he's bottled it. What's happened here to Neil? He was in 6th. Now he's back down to 8th. We cut away at the end of the previous lap, and he's back down to 8th. There's all kinds of dicing going on here in his battle for 6th place. As they exit hairpin. Oh, Neil Moore lost the back end then. Neil Moore playing on a controller. Gave it too much wheelie then out of that hairpin. So that's the end of Neil Moore's challenge for 6th place, I think. But coming out of the Casio triangle then on this final lap of the race is Ryan Sandall, who's not only going to come across the line, but he's going to take the championship as well. As Ryan Sandall comes sideways across the line and wins the Lobby 1 feature race here. Well done, Ryan. Won both races and the championship in style as Calvin Combusel comes home in 2nd place with Dimon Ivanov in P3. I think Kelvin may have just got himself 2nd place in the championship as well. So Dimon in 3rd, Johnny in 4th, Dimitar in P5. And then going into this final chicane, it looks like MGK's just about managed to hold on to 6th place here as they come across the line. Oh, they're side by side across the line, and MJK just about held on to 6th place then as John smartly took the short run to the line and oh so nearly got past. He was only a 10th behind Gilan then as they came across the line, and Neil was only half a second behind that as well. Shane Dye coming home in a really solid P9, and then Jake Beatty still getting used to the wheel, coming home in 10th place with Manu Puri. Hats off to him for keeping going, only finishing 5 seconds behind Jake in the end actually, having had a right mare at the start of the race, coming home in P12. So guys, I hope you did enjoy watching that live stream. Hope you enjoyed watching the penultimate round of this series. There was no sprint series yesterday because there was a game of football going on. You may or may not have watched it. So that's going to be taking place tomorrow, the sprint series round. So I will be streaming that tomorrow, and I may also stream on Thursday. I may stream the final round of the Group 4 series, which I've never streamed before, never commentated it before. Dimitar Penkov and Neil Moore are level on points going into the final round at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit in that series, so yes, I may stream it for that reason. But yeah guys, hope you did enjoy watching that stream. Feel free to like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you all tomorrow. So goodbye.